Ja Morant, if you've been living under a rock, Ja Morant dropped 52 the other day against the Spurs. It was probably the most exciting 52 points I've seen in a long time. It was one of the most exciting 50-point games I've seen in a while. Because he also had, I did get flabbergasted. I wasn't prepared for that score. And he also had, in that same game, probably dunk of the year, buzzer beater of the year, and a really, really good deep three. Ja Morant is a human highlight reel. And I don't mean that as a disrespectful term, because a lot of times people will say somebody's human highlight reel because they're not skilled as well. Ja Morant has a very good mix of athleticism and literally a highlight waiting to happen, and very, very, very high skill levels. He's a great ball handler. He's becoming a better shooter. His skill around the rim is very good. He's the second leading scorer in the paint, and he's a guard. Mario took the words right out of my mouth. I'm not agreeing with you per se, but I've also seen a lot of people start the conversation of, should Ja Morant be considered in the MVP talks, right? Because if you don't know, I have it pulled up here just so we all can see it. Let's just look at his numbers, right? I mean, most of us, we know his numbers by now. But Ja Morant, 29 points, 27 points. My fault. What is this? What is this some way? Anyway, 27 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds on, I'm going to give him 50%, 35 from the field and 75 from the free throw. He's very efficient. He gets to the paint very easily. I'm not even going to say very well. He gets to the paint easily. He's the second highest scorer in the paint this season, and he's a guard. And I want to say he's a 6'5" guard. Is Ja Morant 6'5"? Under 6'5", that's what I meant to say. He's a 6'3" guard, and he's second in the league in points in the paint. He's a very, very special player. And it's wild because I actually saw Colin Cowherd. Mind you, I don't really rock with him. Let's keep that a beat. I don't really rock with Colin Cowherd. But he was having a conversation on his show talking about how, basically saying people need to calm down on the Ja Morant hype, because he said we've seen a small, springy guard before. We saw it in Derrick Rose, he was saying we saw it in Kemba Walker, and there was another guard he talked about. That was a very similar build, small, fast, springy. Westbrook was the other guard, I'm sorry. Springy, just high energy guard. And his argument was, you just can't win that way. Like, you can't win with that type of player on your team. And honestly, I disagree. I think Ja Morant's a special player. I think Ja Morant's in a city that believes in him, that trusts him. I think Ja Morant has a really good team around him as well that's also very young and only going to probably get better in the next year or two. I think the next year and 2 years, I think the Grizzlies can be legitimate title contenders in the next 2 years. I think the Grizzlies have the opportunity. I think they have the potential to. Now, it's not apples to apples, so hear me out when I say this, but I think the Grizzlies have the opportunity to have the type of blossoming or coming out party that the Golden State Warriors did back in like 2015 when they won their first chip. Back before Kevin Durant joined, or even the seasons leading up to that, we saw the writing on the wall that the Golden State Warriors were becoming a team that was really, really good. We saw the big three forming. Now, I'm not saying I'm not calling Ja Morant Steph Curry. Steph Curry is probably, I mean, you make the argument for one of the best point guards of all time, but I think they have that type of potential in terms of a team that's young, a team that, built from the draft, got it out the mud. Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, that got it out the mud and grew together and have the potential to become legitimate title contenders in this league in a year or two. Now, is Ja MVP? No. I think he deserves to be maybe considered considered. And by considered, that just means I think he deserves to have his name thrown in the conversation. Very similar to the conversation I had about DeMar DeRozan last week. I think those both are players who are having great seasons. DeMar even more so. But you take a Ja Morant year in a different season and he might be MVP. You take DeMar DeRozan in a different season and he might be MVP. But I think when you have players like Jokic playing crazy, Embiid playing crazy, and Giannis playing crazy at the level of their playing, I think one of them are going to win the MVP. One of them are MVP. In my opinion, still hands down, one of those three are MVP. Ja can be considered in the conversation. DeMar DeRozan can be considered in the conversation, but that's all it is, in my opinion, consideration. Do I think they actually have a chance of winning? No. Do I think they're going to get first place votes? Also, probably not. I think all the first place votes are going to be split between Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. But that's not me trying to hate on Ja. Please, please, please don't get that twisted. That's not me trying to hate on Ja. I think he's, like I said, he's having an amazing season. The whole point I brought him up for this moment was to just give him his flowers because that's how great of a season he's having. And he's only in his third year. He's 22 years old, only in his third year. Literally, sky's the limit for him. Thank you for calling Hawks Hoops. This is Hawk. Who am I talking to?
Rio.
What's good? What's good with you?
Not much. Y'all down by 13. Just want to put that out there.
All that is like 2 Harden step backs and an and one from Embiid, and we right back in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they about to send your girlfriend to the line right now, James. So. You know, I'm a big James Harden fan, but y'all Philly fans is killing me, man. I can't. Y'all are just doing. Y'all just rub me the wrong way. But James Harden's my guy. You know this.
I do know this. You don't want to know why Philly fans are going crazy, Mario? You want to know why? This is why.
Because of Ben. They're hating on Ben.
No. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people on the outside looking in, don't get me wrong. There are some people who do hate Ben. But I think the majority of Philly fans aren't even thinking about Ben. It's not even hype because we're thinking about how, quote unquote, bad Ben was. I think people are just really surprised at how good James Harden has looked. And most Philly fans of this generation didn't really see Iverson live. You know what I mean? Didn't really watch Iverson. We haven't had a guard that can do this ever in Embiid's tenure. We ain't never had a guard who can dribble and shoot.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. The last time y'all had a good guard was almost triple-double debut, Michael Carter-Williams.
Exactly.
The greatest debuts in Sixers history.
Exactly. You got to go back to Michael Carter-Williams, and before that, you go back to Drew Holiday. Those are the last good guard. That's the last good guard, Drew Holiday. His last year on the Sixers, I think he was an all-star, I want to say. But, that's the last good guard we had.
Y'all do be fumbling them guards.
We don't fumble guards. We just haven't had a good one.
y'all have had good guards and let them go. Y'all let Drew go. Jimmy was old, but Drew
had to go. We were starting the process at that point. Drew was going to keep us in the playoffs, and Sam Hinkie was ready to tank.
Nah. You could have still kept Drew around. Y'all could have. I feel like y'all could have just got the team without Drew. Drew would have been, because y'all are good with defensive-minded guards. And I feel like that's why Tyrese Maxey, I wouldn't say he's not straight defensive, but he does play two ways.
Oh yeah.
But y'all have been always good with a defensive-minded guard. And I mean, y'all have that in Tyrese Maxey, so you don't really need it in James Harden. Mm-hmm. And then you got Matisse and stuff like that. So that's understandable. But I ain't called to talk about Philly. I can't call to talk about Ja, in all honesty.
Okay.
And I know, and I understand, it's like, it's a Ja hype, yada yada yada. Granted, so we've talked about this before. The NBA season starts the couple days after All-Star break. The first game after All-Star break, it was like last Thursday or Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah, it was Thursday. Last Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the season started, and this is where Joel has definitely had a sizable lead. But like I said, Ja has come storming back. He has been consistent all season.
Definitely has been
consistent all season. But since All-Star break, he has definitely turned up, and rightfully so. But I don't understand why he cannot be an MVP conversation. One, he has a better record than all the candidates so far. He has a better record than the Sixers. He has a better record than the Nuggets. He also has a better record than the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
He has a better record. He's been consistent. He's shooting wise. He's having, granted, this is only third year, but shooting 50% averaging 28 points is still sick.
Oh yeah, and that's a testament to his ability to finish in the lane.
Yes, I mean yes, that is true too. Like I was saying earlier in the comments, he dropped 50, shooting 73%, while only taking 7 free throws and making 4.
Yeah, that was wild. That
means he dropped 48 points on straight buckets.
22 for 30 field goals. I was actually listening to a podcast, and I want to say there's only 2 or 3 NBA players in history that had 50-point games with fewer free throws.
Bro, it's like unheard of. Like it's very rare.
Yeah.
So like I mean, like I said, that does attest to. Granted, he only took 4 threes. He made all of them, but that still does attest to his ability to get in the lane, hit the floaters and the dunks and the contested lays. Yeah, which is understandable. But I don't think MVP definitely has something to do with the stats and so forth. But I think his leadership qualities are so underrated.
I can see that.
In the sense of it's his 3rd year in the league. We compare it to Derrick Rose and all that. But if you think about it, he gave Grizzlies hope. If we're like the Grizzlies, if we look at it, their second best player coming into the season was supposed to be Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. It's supposed to be Jaren Jackson. And I mean, granted, he was coming off an injury, and he's not been the Jaren Jackson of the past. But that team is still producing. You got people like Desmond Bain stepping up, Slow-Mo, of course. Then you got Tyus Jones, who's a very underrated playmaker because he's also he takes care of the ball very well, and I think that's a very underrated stat for him that people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
He is very, very efficient with the ball in his hands. You got Slow-Mo, of course. And that team is not supposed to be a team that's 3rd in the West. If we're being totally honest, there's no reason.
No,
for them
they're not
to be
supposed to
third
be.
in the West.
No one expected him to be this high in the Western Conference at all.
Yeah, and especially after them crawling through the play-in last year.
Yep. It's literally a complete 180 of last season, and a lot of it has to do with Ja Morant. I do agree.
And I understand it, and yes, he hasn't been putting up these flashy or just doing this all season, but I think there's a reason why he should be in the MVP conversation, because not only is it consistency, but he's also taken up another notch. Granted, it's only been a week and some change. I get that.
Yeah.
But Joel also came out of the All-Star break swinging. Granted, it took him 20 free throws to come out swinging. But you know what?
Hey, y'all heard me at the top of the show. Stop fouling him.
I know.
Don't foul him.
I heard that.
Because if you don't foul him, he probably still going to make the shot anyway. So just don't foul him.
I mean, I'm watching the game right now. He's complaining about calls, but I mean, hey. That's that James Harden trait. But anyways, yeah, so like I said, I do believe if Ja continues this run, he doesn't have to drop 50 every night. But if the Grizzlies continue to win and Ja continues to be as efficient, I believe there is a very good case for him being MVP. Because
like actually winning it? Really?
We've talked about it. This is Joel's race to lose, which is definitely we agreed that's Joel's case to lose. But we didn't expect anyone else to be pushing like this, like the way Ja has.
I mean, I hear you, and you're making some really, really good points. But like, even if it is Joel's to lose, I still have other people ahead of Ja before it goes to Ja.
And why is that? I'm saying like if we're looking at most valuable. Granted, yes, Joel is very valuable to that team, and so is Jokic, and so is Giannis.
Exactly.
But yes, yes, we get that. But if we're being totally honest, this season alone, this body of work that Ja has been putting on, it's been going under the radar before All-Star break, and now people are starting to shed some light on it.
I don't think it was under the radar before All-Star break.
It was under the radar because people weren't really talking about it. People started talking about him after he dropped 46 and 52. He dropped 46 on my Bulls, and I'm tight. He dropped 46 on my Bulls. And granted, and that was the number 2 team in the East.
I mean, yes. So this is, Ja will be in the conversation. That's what I was saying earlier. I think he'll be in the conversation. I think he's in the conversation now. But I think there's just three names that are ahead of him in that conversation. And
because
I
those
think
names are superstars, and those names have been those names are consistent names that's always going to be there. Giannis, Joel,
and that's
Joker,
and that's fine. And I think Ja in the future will also be a name that's going to be there. I just don't see him winning it this year.
That is true. Honestly, I don't think he will win it. But I believe there is a very significant case that he should be up there in top 3, top 2.
Top 2.
I think there. I don't believe he's gonna win it because Ja hasn't. This is his like. I don't remember we were talking this season. Like, we've been talking this season. Like, yo, Ja his proven case for most improved, yada yada yada. The scoring averages went up by like 8 or some nonsense like that.
Yep.
So yeah, so he's in case for most improved. But I think the reason why he's not getting that Joel Embiid and that Jokic because this is really his first year. Like, this is his breakout year. This is his year that's going to throw him into superstardom. You feel me?
I mean, yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the reason why he's also not in that conversation because he hasn't been touted as a superstar. Jokic, Joel, and Giannis are superstars, so they're automatically going to get that gas.
Well, not to push back too much.
That's also with reason because they're also playing very well.
I get what you're saying in terms of that, but I think Jokic before his MVP season last year, I think people knew he was good. People knew he was an all-star, but I don't think a lot of people thought he was a superstar. Jokic, just to me, last season was a breakout season for him. The years before, he only averaged 20. The next season, he puts up 26. His percentages go up. His passing's better. His defense was better that year as well.
That was his MVP year, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's MVP, right?
So I
and Ja is having that kind of year. Granted, his assist is down and his turnovers is up by like 0.2.
Yeah,
but that's also like the assist is down probably like by 0.8. But I'm saying that's just semantics. I mean, you guys are analytics guys. But win shares, if we're doing analytics of win shares and stuff like that, impact, that is a very big role because, like, winning. Like, because I remember there was this one time early in the season when Ja got hurt and Memphis was winning. Then he came back and they started losing or whatever. And then after that he got back on the roll. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
And ever since then, that has been a completely different team. That has been granted, they're not. I don't see them winning the championship right now, but you can, without a doubt, say they are a contending team. You can say that. I don't see them winning anything, but they're going to give whoever comes out of the West problems. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, there's still, like I said, there is a case for him being MVP. Like I said, I still don't think he will get it, but and that's okay. I understand that because, like I said, this is only his third year, and there's time. He got time to go, but I think that should be a more serious conversation.
I get you.
And as the weeks go by, we're gonna see how serious it is. Because is he gonna continue playing like this? Like I said, we could revisit this conversation in like what, 3 more weeks? When is this?
I mean, yeah, the season's literally over April 10th, so
yeah,
players got a little over a month to make their final cases for why they should or should not be MVP, basically.
Yeah. So, but I could say Ja is definitely top 3, and there's legitimate reason as to why. Because if we're really talking about,
so I'm curious, who's your other 2? Who are you taking out of Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis? Who are you putting him over? Because those are my top 3, so I'm curious.
Yeah, we got. All right, so I mean, like I said, it's Joel's to lose. I mean, like I said, Jokic is still doing thing. Giannis is still doing thing. If anything, damn.
See, and this is what I'm talking about when I say he's in the conversation, but I don't think he really has it because, like, he's there. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's
Mhm.
top 5 candidate for me. Which is really, really great. But these other guys are having some crazy seasons, is like historic level seasons. Jokic putting up historic PER numbers. Giannis is also breaking PER numbers. His just happens to be one number below Jokic's. And then when you look, Joel Embiid also is tied for the former all-time PER. They're all, any other season, if they were just by themselves, they all would have all-time great PER numbers. All three of those guys. Like, they're having wild seasons. And Ja Morant is also having a wild season. Their wild season just happens to be like a capital W and his like a lowercase w, but they're both wild seasons.
Like I said, we can go with Jokic, Joel, and Ja. Definitely the top 3 for me personally. But like I said, but yeah, I still do believe there's a conversation to be had.
Okay, I feel that,
and it should be a more serious conversation.
I think it's slowly getting there. I saw ESPN, talking about their MVP picks. I don't remember which show it was, but a lot of people had Ja Morant in their top 2, top 3. So I think he's starting to get to the recognition that he deserves. I think the people are starting to take the Memphis Grizzlies seriously. I don't know how it took them this long to do that, but I think he's getting there. And I'm looking forward to the rest of his career for sure.
Yeah. And I think if you're watching, his game is slowing down. He's playing a little bit smarter. It's not just
Yeah, it's not 100% all the time.
I think he's playing the game. You can see the game slowing down for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I said, it's gonna be exciting. But like I said, I don't think he'll win it. But there should definitely be a more serious conversation when it comes to that.
Okay, I feel that.
Yeah. But all right, then I've held you long enough.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, then y'all down by 9. All right.
Peace. I mean, Mario brings up some good points, and like I was saying, Ja Morant. Y'all saw me pulling up the stats I was looking at the stats when we were talking, because he really is having a really, really good season. And I mean, like I was saying, very similar to DeMar DeRozan. If he was having this season in a different year, he probably would be the front runner for MVP. Like, for real. And he probably would be the front runner for MVP if this was a different season. It's just, and that goes with what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. This is just how much, I don't know any other word to say it, but how much special basketball we have the privilege to watch right now, because guys are playing at an extremely high level. Hey, if I just